Shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh b'Hashem, Yahweh Shai b'Hashem Rakakodash. Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh Shai b'Hashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the prophets of that body, and Shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. Now, there was something called the Red Summer, when Esau came and deleted a lot of the Jake towns, deleted a lot of Jake. I'm not saying Jake, I'm talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right. And, Esau's been moonwalking in our blood for generations. And now we're coming to that point where the heathen are going to get it, as well as the 2/3. The troubles that are going to come upon this earth in every single country, and no country is going to be avoided just because you think you live outside of America. America is ground zero. America was that shining beacon of light for people to go there and achieve and become something. And you can be wherever you want in America. So many success stories of immigrants and Israelite foreigners and heathens and some Jakes, but for the most part, for Israelites in general, it was being hell because this is not our rest. Now, there's been so many numerous store closures, businesses shutting down, banks shutting down. My local high street was a thriving high street 25 years ago. Okay, we had a local mall, which is probably about 7 miles from where I reside. That was a thriving mall. We used to go there back in the late 90s, to buy whatever you need to buy. And obviously in the malls, there'd be girls hanging out. So that was and back then, there would be a lot of cute girls, nice looking women working at the checkouts. That's not there no more, right? So, I'm trying to add a little bit of levity to the situation, for Jake that's listening, if you are listening, a little bit of a humorous spin to it. You know how we are. We're men, right? So we're going to go for these specific reasons. Anyway, long story short, those places don't exist no more. They're ghost towns. The banks are boarded up, shut. They've got their shutters down. Graffiti everywhere. Homeless Edomites. Mainly 95% of the homeless people look like Edomites. More than likely are Edomites. As the curses pursuant to Deuteronomy 30 verse 7 are coming upon them slowly but surely. All right. Now, this is going to be another, as they say, another nail in the coffin of Esau's kingdom. Yeah, let's just say that. Right. Morrison's. Okay, I was trying to see if Morrison's exists in America because Asda, we have a store called Asda over here, which is owned by Walmart, but has the UK version name, which is called Asda, ASDA. Walmart is in America, right? And Morrison's is like a similar version to Walmart, right? Okay, it's owned by an American firm. Okay, before I go into the specifics, I'm just going to show you who owns it. Okay, no, that's not it. Yes, Morrison's is owned by an American private equity firm called Clayton, Dubilier and Rice, CD&R. They acquired the supermarket chain in October 2021, and that was a year after the you-know-what. Approximately, what was it, March 2019? No, March 2020, right? October 2020. Yeah, no, so March 2020 was the C19 thing, right? And by 2021, over a year later, right? So during that period, if you noticed, American firms have bought certain big large UK chains as well. And you know why, right? Because they want to close shop on everything. Esau wants everybody with the charagma. This is obviously going to push a lot of people that can just about make ends meet. Take the CHIP, which is the RF to the I to the D, the rice grain, the charagma, okay, which means insertion or etching into the flesh, which is Revelation 13:16. All right. So, because that will be the new form of purchasing, selling, all right, and also control as well, greater control. They want to control you. Okay, they want to know what they want to. These heathens, these Edomites, these powers that be, these so-called elites, want to be like, the Most High. They want to control, know. They want to be all knowing, all seeing. They want to have complete control over you. Okay, so to do all that, they have to destroy jobs, businesses, economies. All right, so it's not just them being American. They're doing it. Obviously, these elites, so-called elites, have their people everywhere. All right, they're in different parts of the world, marry the local women. So some of the Edomites or Amalekites look like those nations, like Arabs or whatever, or even, and the heathens are involved as well. Seen to Psalms 83, trying to cut us off from being a nation. They take on the local names. They could be in Italy with an Italian name. Like Bonifaci or something. I don't know. And they just could be Amalek, pretending to be Italian. That's an example. Yes, Morrison's is owned by an American private firm called Clayton, Dubilier and Rice. They acquired the supermarket chain in October 2021 after a bidding war with other US-based investment groups. According to BBC News, the acquisition was finalized in a deal worth £7 billion. Reports in Retail Gazette, which is probably around about $10.5 to $11 billion. Okay. Now, what else do I have here? Now, BlackRock used to own Morrison's. All right. But now it doesn't. So no, BlackRock does not own Morrison's. While BlackRock has been a shareholder in the past, it has since sold its stake in the supermarket chain. Morrison's is currently owned by Clayton, Dubilier and Rice, a private equity firm, yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right. So this happened in 2021, which is during the height of the so-called pandemic, right? The C19 thing. When everybody didn't want to work, and or people were scared to go out and all that. Isaiah 13 verse 6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. And we're approaching that hour. And before the Lord makes his appearance, okay, a lot of these things have to happen. But the Lord is soon going to come. Hence the reason time is going fast. You feel like it's freaking damn near Groundhog Day, like that movie with Bill Murray, right? Doing the same damn thing every day. Okay? As a Hope for Elect member, right? Your focus is always just on the prophecies. Your focus on the Lord. You don't even feel like doing anything else but stay focused and ready. I don't know. That's the kind of spirit that's on me, man. I don't really feel like, I don't know. I'm just so focused on this. The spirit's not on me to do any kind of bullshit. I'm just like, keep your head down and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Just waiting for the Lord, man. And time is going fast. These things are going to happen very, very quickly, man. Domino effect. Once that domino falls, boom, 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 boom. America, England, Australia, all the strongholds of the Edomites, right, are going to go down. But America is going to be the only place that's going to be destroyed off the face of the earth. Let's go to the news segment, right? Now, this is from about 20 hours ago, all right? Morrison's, and these Morrison's is basically a whole bunch of women that are married women that do part-time work, students that do, work just to sort of supplement their, to pay for, pay for whatever students pay for, right? Books and things like that, and rent and things of that nature, or people that can't find a job that overqualified. Morrison's is that place. It's like basically like similar to a Walmart, right? I don't know if some of these stores used to be open 24 hours, but they stopped doing that now as well. And that obviously takes out a whole bunch of people that can only do night shifts as well, right? So Morrison's axes 3,600 jobs in mass store closure, move full list of shops shut. All right, and it has to be 36, right? 3666. Esau with his numbers, man. Morrison's axes 3,600 jobs in mass store closure, move full list of shops shut. Morrison's also cut more than 8,800 across its business in 2023. Okay, so in 2023, they did a huge move of juking 8,800 jobs. All right. Morrison's has cut over 3,600 jobs and shut 17 stores in as part of a huge shakeup at the supermarket giant. The chain reduced its workforce from 104,819 to 101,144. Spiritual, isn't it? The beginning and the ending, and that's the ending is forever with the 144, the elect men, highly spiritual. The chain reduced its workforce from 104,819 to 101,144 over the last financial year after a decline in revenue. The cuts were made across in-store and distributing staff, head office Slovakia. The cuts were made across in-store and distributing staff, head office employees, and manufacturing workers after the retailer recorded a dip in profits in the 12 months to October the 27th, 2024. The biggest cut was to on the ground staff. The biggest cut was on to Slovakia. The biggest cut was to on the ground staff, with the number shrinking from 88,258 to 85,508. The Morrison's latest slew of job losses also predated the closure of 17 UK branches earlier this year, with the final store in Haxby, North Yorkshire, closing on May the 14th. So this is going to keep closing and closing and closing. You're going to hear about more and more store closures, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they start closing other supermarkets as well. And they're probably going to keep one big, massive supermarket open, equivalent of like a Walmart. In the UK would be like Asda, which is around the corner from me where I reside, right? Where they can sort of like say, okay, 2 or 3 different towns can come and do shopping over here. So they've got one place to shop. So therefore Esau can police that area, have more control of the population that are wanting food and water and things of that nature. So they're going to do things like that. So they can basically centralize the flow of human traffic, instead of having people scattered about everywhere, And obviously with this, it's going to lead to people taking the CHIP, excuse me, the CHIP. Why? People want to pay their bills. People want to go on holiday. People want normalcy, right? People want to still have hope. I still want to hold on to optimism and hope the future will get better, especially these heathens, these so-called white people. All right. So this is going to be a major dent into the economy. All right. You're going to see more and more people walking around in the middle of the day, coffee shops full, people talking, commiserating, trying to figure out ways to sort of get out of the situation. And obviously this is going to lead to anger as well. Okay. All right, of people that are pissed off, that want to get at the government. They're already saying get Starmer out, which is the Prime Minister of the UK, and they've already pissed off. Starmer actually walked into a pub, which I've already talked about this before, right? Numerous pubs, by the way, but one that was caught on camera was The Edomite that owned the pub was being held down by security of Keir Starmer. And the Edomite in the pub says, I don't want him in my pub. I don't want to serve him. He can't have a drink here. Take your money and get the hell out of my pub. That's how angry, right, these Edomites are against the current prime minister. They hate this motherfucker, man. I tell you one thing, bro, there's going to be hell breaking loose, all right? But this is going to be a domino effect. If you're not earning money, right, how are you going to go to buy things? How are you going to go have a pint in a pub, pint of beer? How are you going to do these things? Less disposable income, people aren't spending, other stores close. So obviously, it's going to lead to, you know, the demise of this world, which is happening in real time, which is a good thing. Motherfuck this world, man. We want the world of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, you know? I've read it all, right? Let's see if I've got anything else to read. The other closures happened in April and were accompanied by the axing of 50 Morrison's in-store cafes, 35 meat and fish counters, and 18 kitchen food courts. Now, you've got to understand, the UK is a very small island, all right? You can fit the UK into Texas 5 times. So obviously, this is going to have quite a significant dent into the economy. The supermarkets cited the need to cut costs amid rising financial pressure after making a pre-tax loss of £919 million in 2023 and £1.3 billion in 2022. It closed over 8,800 stores across its business in 2023. Damn, 8,800. Look at that. Poundland, Apple, New Look, and Superdrug all closing stores in August. Poundland is like equivalent of your, what you call it, your Dollar Tree or whatever in America, right? So we got Poundland over here. Right, let's see what they said here, man. I don't even know about this. Check this out. See Wagwan. As Benjamin would say, let's see Wagwan. Poundland, Apple, New Look. New Look is that place where women go buy their makeup and that cheap jewelry that young girls wear. You know, like the stainless steel covered in silver or some shit, you know. What you call costume jewelry. New Look, yeah, it's full of girly stuff. Poundland, Apple, New Look, and Superdrug. All Superdrug is basically like a, I don't know what the equivalent would be, like a, Superdrug would be like a, let me see what Superdrug. What's the equivalent of Superdrug in America? What's that place I used to go to when I was in it? All right, let me see. American drug pharmaceutical stores. CVS, yeah, it's like a CVS or a Walgreens, yeah, or a Rite Aid. All right, but in there, you know, with the pharmaceutical stuff, you can get, you know, women. You can buy as a man. You can buy, you know, deodorants, cologne, the high-end stuff, the cheap stuff, creams, facial creams, cocoa butter, and all that kind of stuff. You know, women's makeup. That's what Superdrug is. All right, we know what everybody knows what Apple is, and Poundland is equivalent of Dollar Tree. All right, this is from this is from August 2025. Right. Okay, yeah. The UK has seen many store closures in the first half of the year, from supermarkets to major fashion brands, with banks even suffering too. However, the closures have not stopped, as multiple companies are expected to shut more of their branches this month, including Poundland, Apple, New Look, and Superdrug. The closures come as a result of a combination of reasons such as end of tenancies, financial issues, a decrease in footfall, and change in consumer habits. Of course, people ain't got a damn money to spend. How are they going to spend money? If they don't have it, how are they going to spend it? Right? Oh yeah, New Look is, I think, Yeah, I mean it's a ladies' place, isn't it? Women buy their bras and drawers from there, and bikinis, and girl ladies' clothes and shit. All right, 37 stores. New Look, Poundland. How many of them? 800. Oh, Poundland is slashing 800 branch brand to around 650 to 700 stores, and a huge 26 locations are set to close this August. Right, these are the areas it's going to close. Damn, all the areas it's going to close. Man. Super drug. Which is good, man. We want this place to fall quick time. Quick time. All right. Let's get some scriptures. Ecclesiastes 12 and 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Okay. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, work is no more. Our work is, there's not much of it, right? And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. The shitty music, the shitty entertainment right now. And people ain't really sort of like chilling out on a Saturday morning, mowing their lawn with a radio in the background, with some oldies in the background. People really don't do that no more. A lot of us Jakes do still because, we're in good spirits, Lord willing, because we know the kingdom is coming. So there's a sort of nostalgic feel for us. But for the heathen and the 2/3, man, they're not really doing that. You know what I mean? Verse 5. So, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Verse 5. Okay. Second Ezra 15. No, Second Ezra 15:14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. As I mentioned, people, unemployed people usually would gather where? While they've got their last few quid in their pocket, they're going to meet at the pub if they can find a pub open. All right. And then on top of that, also the coffee shops. So the last few quid that they have, they might, let's go and have a coffee. They're going to get together with their mates or friends or whatever, go for a pint and talk. And that's sedition. What's the definition of sedition, man? Get it. Definition of sedition. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch, right? So they're going to be talking about how to rebel, the hatred they have for certain people within the so-called government, and what they'd like to do. They want to be like Keith Sweat. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But then eventually they're going to do it. It's going to be a bloodbath, right? For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. They already hate these motherfuckers. I hate Keir Starmer. I hate Trump, blah, blah, blah. Right? No kings or whatever. Right? And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17. Here goes the martial law verse. Next verse, the martial law one. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right? There's going to be trouble, man. Martial law, people hiding underground, people moving, strategically. Those that have army training, that were in the cadets or whatever, I don't know. In the UK, they're going to be moving underground. I mean, obviously, the UK is a small island. It's not like in America where you can go to the outskirts you can just go miles and miles and miles away. I mean, you can travel far, but you can easily be caught here as well. roadblocks and things of that nature. But the Lord will provide a way for the elect. But there'll be people moving underground, bum rushing people's houses, raping women, children. You know, it's going to lead to the most worse than 70 AD. So we're coming to that time, and so this is great news, right, for the elect, whoever they are across the four corners of the earth. Okay, because the Howl is working, man. The Lord is working. The Lord is destroying this place piece by piece. The whole jigsaw puzzle, the Lord, that Lord put together for Esau to reign for a short period. Yeah, the Lord is, like a jigsaw puzzle has, like, you can create a piece, like a nice sort of picture using jigsaw puzzles, like a picture of a farm or some kind of sunset or beautiful forest or something. The Lord is just like, Esau's world is a jigsaw puzzle. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai is just pulling each piece apart, slow, like piece by piece around the world, man. So that picture is just desolate. There's nothing left anymore, you know? So this is good, man. All right. Oh, that's the old one, because those 365 jobs have already gone. We're focused on the 3600. Anyway, so this is good news. All right. Good news for the elect, whoever they are, and bad news for Esau and the heathens and you two Turdians. All right. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahshai Ba'Hashem Rakak Wadash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashra Shalom.